Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leader in rushing, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. A little surprise early morning stream. Some people just got the notification and said, what in the hell is Clayton doing up at 7:30 Central talking football? We eat, sleep, and breathe this stuff. And I've got a busy day ahead, so I thought, you know what, let's get an episode out as quick as possible in case we can't do an afternoon. However, the plan is to do an afternoon show as well. You guys know it's officially December the 1st. It's Christmas season. We're going to be out shopping all day. It's going to get interesting real quick. So you never know. Those hour-long shopping trips turn into a 6-hour trip with Mandy, and things get rough. So what we're going to do today is dive into some of the PFF grades and some of the offensive stars and defensive stars of 2025. We're going to first take a quick look at the Detroit Lions game, see which players balled out, and show you who had the highest PFF grades. And then we'll also dive into, okay, who is ranking the highest for the Green Bay Packers here in the 2025 season. So we'll give you a look at the Lions game, which players kind of rose to the occasion there on the road on Thanksgiving in Detroit. And then okay, here's how they're doing on the season. Then we'll switch gears from offense to defense and do the same thing. So that's the plan of what we got going on here this morning. Before we do, if you guys would do that YouTube stuff for us, hit like, hit subscribe. If this is your first time tuning into PTA, welcome. Thank you for making us a part of your day. We're not experts. We're not insiders. We're not media. We're fans just like you talking Packers on a daily basis. So if you're looking for that type of content, make sure you hit subscribe and click that bell icon so you're notified when we go live here in the future. Let's waste no time. Let's jump right into it. PFF grades, Week 13, Packers at the Detroit Lions, getting a huge win on Thanksgiving Day in front of that national audience. What a great victory that was. And let's just kind of see who balled out here in this game real quick. And again, this is according to PFF. I like to cross-check these. You guys know how I roll. I like to kind of take a look at these and then jump over to NFL Pro. We won't have time to do that this morning. We're going to be breaking down a tape today, and the plan is to have y'all chalk talk ready for tomorrow. We'll give you guys about 15 or 20 of the key plays from the Packers win over the Lions. So right off the bat, man, Dontavion Wicks, holy cow, 31 snaps. Played a good chunk of the snaps, right? With Matthew Golden out with the injury once again, Savion Williams out with the injury. And you can see how fired up Matt LaFleur was for Dontavion Wicks, dominating in this game. 91.7 was his PFF grade. He was in on 24 passing plays, and he was in on 7 running plays, it looks like. But again, 91.7 PFF grade for Dontavion Wicks. That, I believe, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, I think that is his best performance of his entire career, if I remember correctly. You guys go fact check me on that. But again, Dontavion Wicks, don't look now. He's balling out. We'll show you where his season grade is when we get done with this quick little segment. Next, you got Jordan Love, number 2 spot. No surprise here. He was on fire against Detroit. I think he had 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, doing a great job, not only taking what the defense gave him, but also kind of making chicken salad out of chicken, you-know-what, right? Rolling backwards, fadeaway passes. I love how people love to make fun of Jordan Love and his fadeaway passes. They don't make fun of him when he hits on them, though, right? Just a dominant performance there. 91.2 is his PFF grade. Played 62 snaps there. I believe that was all 62 of the offensive snaps, obviously. He never came out of the game one time. You know the big thing I love about this Jordan Love performance? He slid. Right on the scramble, you can see he can still make things happen with his legs when he needs to. Now, he's looking to scramble to create a secondary window, right? That's what he's looking to do. But every now and again, he'll tuck that thing and run. And he's been notorious for, let me lower my shoulder and run through this freaking defender. Scares the heck out of me every time he does it. Now, when he gets the first down, he stands up and flexes on them. Love it, right? But when he separates his shoulder like he did a few weeks ago, hate it. And that's just that's the nature of the business, right? So again, love the fact that Jordan Love went out there in Detroit. He's now, he is so dominant on Thanksgiving Day. Like I said the other day, if I'm at policy, I'm going to the league and go, hey, go ahead and put us on the docket for Thanksgiving next year, please. And let's do it at Lambeau, rotate them. Gosh, it's so cool to see him. He balled out in Detroit 2 years ago, right, on Thanksgiving Day. He balled out at Lambeau against the Miami Dolphins last year, and then this year going back into Detroit. So just a great performance by Jordan Love. Emmanuel Wilson, only 12 snaps, but a 79.9 with a running grade of 78.6. E-Will continues to raise that grade. You're seeing more of Emmanuel Wilson of what you've seen last year. Now, you would look at the PFF grade early this season and think he's having a down year. But when you look at the overall touches, his touches were way down. Now, with Josh Jacobs getting a little banged up here lately, he's getting his opportunity. And boy, oh boy, is he taking advantage of it. Emmanuel Wilson playing absolutely lights out football right now. I mean, really, what I love about E-Will is he's constantly taking what the defense gives him. Like it's like his peripheral vision is so good. He can recognize when there's something to be had on the outside and when there's not. And when there's not, he'll just tuck into those linemen and just keep those legs moving. And he'll turn what should be a 2-yard gain into a 6 or a 7-yard gain. Nothing flashy, just literally pushing the pile, rolling off of the pile, and just kind of keeping his legs moving forward. He's a good change of pace for Josh Jacobs. I don't know who's the faster back. We could go look at the RAS, and if you guys want to look it up and throw it in the comments, I greatly appreciate it. But the thing about Emmanuel Wilson and Josh Jacobs, it feels like they're built very similar. Like Josh Jacobs runs with power. If you had to classify, if you had to put them in a category, Josh Jacobs, is he a speed back or is he a power back? I would say power back. He doesn't have that top end speed. Let me turn this heater off. I am cooking. Hold on a second. Sorry about that. That's the professionalism you get here on this show. So would you think Josh Jacobs is a speed back or a power back? I would say a power back, probably a balanced back, more balanced, because when you hear power back, you think of someone who's not quick, who's not twitchy. They just kind of, push the pile type thing. So probably more of a balanced back, but I would put him more of power than a speed back, right? Same thing with Emmanuel Wilson, although I think Emmanuel Wilson, I think you would say he's balanced, but he's closer to a speed back maybe than a power back. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Because as I'm saying that, I think of Emmanuel Wilson running through that dude's face 2 weeks ago at the goal line too, right? The Vikings, the defender linebacker, if I remember correctly. So, yeah, I'm with you. Holmes says Wilson's faster. Completely agree, man. And Holmes says Jacobs is a shifty power runner. That's the thing too. When you say power back, you think, oh, he can't bounce around. Josh Jacobs is one of the best in the game at being able to hop a gap and bust that thing outside. You don't see him break away for the long touchdowns, right? But you see him break away enough to pick up a 20 or a 30-yard gain and run through a couple guys' faces along the way. So, again, Emmanuel Wilson having a great season. Next is Christian Watson in Detroit, 79.4. Guys, he's doing it every single week. Doesn't matter the opponent. Doesn't matter the level of defenders who are covering. It just seems like every single week we look up and go, Christian Watson had another great game. His hands are better. His route running's better. He's still got his speed, as we've seen in Detroit, with he and Jordan connected on that. What was that, 51-yard touchdown, I believe? That'll make Chalk Talk this week. Gave him a little stick nod, right? A little out and up, bang up the sideline, cooked the defender. You can't say enough about Christian Watson. Just continues to ball out. Zach Tom in the number 5 spot, 74. My man is just so freaking consistent every single week. Zach Tom is just playing steady football. 74.0 was his PFF grade. Pass blocking, no surprise, 82.0. Run blocking, 65.4. Zach Tom just, again, every single week seems like he's a top 5 offensive player. Now we got Josh Jacobs, 33 snaps. Guys, he was banged up. We've seen him get hurt in this game again, too. Took a nasty lick to the leg, if I remember correctly. 71.9, even when he's not fully healthy. Look at the pass blocking grade, 81.3, running grade of 70. So Josh Jacobs just playing steady. I love the fact that they mixed in a little bit more Emmanuel Wilson. Josh Jacobs got 33 snaps. E-Will got 12. So you got to mix and match a little bit. Chris Brooks also got, it looks like, 18 snaps there as well. Probably some pass blocking situation, I would imagine. Sean Ryan, guys, hold the phones. Sean Ryan, 70.4. Now listen, they've got a good interior defensive lineman. I'm trying to think of his name. Elam, is that his name? Aleem, I think it is. One of the better defensive tackles in the game. You had Aiden Hutchinson on the outside. So the fact that Sean Ryan graded out with a 70.4, and the beautiful thing about this, pass blocking 70.7, run blocking 69.1. So just steady across the board. Has Sean Ryan turned the corner? We'll find out, right? We'll know in due time. Now, listen, he's still got some bad snaps here or there. We know he's not a natural center. He's playing that position because Elton Jenkins got hurt. But, boy, is Sean Ryan available, and is he accountable? Like, I don't know, man. We need to keep an eye on him because that might be one that the Packers may surprise us and give a little bit of a contract extension and get a really good price on. We always talk about you're willing to overpay for great, never overpay for good. The ideal situation is overpay for great, underpay for good. The teams that can underpay for good for 70% of their roster, those are typically the best rosters in football. And sometimes that comes with guys that haven't like completely flashed or shown a whole lot of talent and ability on a consistent basis that you can recognize, okay, we can work with that. We can make him a better football player. He's ascending right now. I think we would all agree Sean Ryan is ascending at the moment, right? I don't think he's going backwards. And you guys know how I feel. Like nobody's ever staying the same. You're either getting better or you're getting worse. If you had to classify him, put him into one of two categories, is Sean Ryan getting better or getting worse? I think I would say he's getting better, right? So, again, Sean Ryan with a great game there. Luke Musgrave, 66.8. And I know people like to cherry pick the reps and show an embarrassing run blocking. That's not what he is. I don't even know why we continue to try to point out that Musgrave can't block. It would be like pointing out a receiver can't block, right? Like, again, you're not seeing him attached as much as you have in the past. I think they've recognized we need to flex him out a little bit. That crosser, again, you can attach him and run crossers from underneath, right? And I can't wait to break that play down on Chalk Talk because that was a great play by Jordan and Luke Musgrave. But 66.8, man, that's it. That's pointing in the right direction. Rasheed Walker, 60.5. Chris Brooks, 60.3. John Fitzpatrick, 60.0. And then as far as the guys who played bad, people were bragging on Anthony Belton and everything. Again, I don't think Anthony Belton's playing bad football. I don't think it warrants this 37.7 PFF grade. However, when I turn on the tape, I don't see this superstar that some people are saying, man, that's what's changing the offensive line. I think he's doing his job, and that's great, right? He's definitely playing right guard. I don't know if I would say he's playing it better than Jordan Morgan, who is, like we said, natural left tackle. He played left tackle his whole life. But I think they are neck and neck there. And if you get a bigger, more powerful version of Jordan Morgan playing right guard and Anthony Belton, like more of a mauler, I think it makes sense to play him there. And for God's sakes, can we just go ahead and kick Jordan Morgan over to left tackle and let him practice there every week? Let him get ready to take over left tackle next year if Rasheed Walker hits free agency like we think. So let's shift gears now and let's actually dive into how these players are looking on the season on the offensive side of the ball before we switch gears over to defense. So here we go. Here's everyone's PFF grade updated for the regular and postseason. Obviously, no postseason yet for 2025. Jaden Reed's still leading the way to 89.9. Is anybody else excited about getting Jaden Reed back? I mean, this dude, I don't think people understand how good Jaden Reed has been. He's led the Packers in receiving the last 2 years, and his PFF grade would suggest he was the number one wide receiver as well the last 2 years, if I remember correctly. Maybe his first year he didn't grade out the highest. Last year he graded out as the highest, if I remember right. But 89.9 on only 23 reps. If he comes back and he grades out in the 70s, and you got Dontavion Wicks who's ascending right now, you got Christian Watson playing as good a football as he's ever played in his career, and then you get Matthew Golden healthy, and we see Savion Williams even on one leg go up and moss the dude in New York to make that crucial catch on a 3rd and long. This receiving core is really setting up to be nice. We didn't even mention Romeo Doubs, who might be the better one of if not the best receivers on this team. It's just it doesn't look like he's probably going to be here for the long haul. Maybe they'll surprise us with that. But man, Jaden Reed, really excited to get him back. And again, that's a minute amount of snaps, so we want to kind of take that with a grain of salt. But Jordan Love on the year, guys, 87.3, grading out as the second best quarterback in the league in terms of passer grade with an 89. We did the Jordan Love versus Caleb Williams comp the other day, the video on that. You guys make sure you go check it out. You can just scroll down and we've got it in video form and the live stream form. That was a fun video to do because the way that some of these national pundits were talking about Caleb Williams is like, man, it sounds like they think he's just as good as Jordan Love. And then you go and dig into the numbers, you dig into the tape and you go, what the hell are they talking about? It's not even close. Jordan Love is playing like a top 5 quarterback. Caleb Williams is playing like somewhere in the 15 to 20 range. And that's including Caleb Williams' ability to scramble. If you removed his ability to scramble, you're talking about a guy who's probably down around 20 or 25 in the league. So again, just go check the video out. Let me know what you guys think in the comments there. Christian Watson, don't look now, 84.6. He's grading out like a top 10 wide receiver now on the season. Zach Tom, 82.5, steady 80, money well spent. That dude is just – he's lights out. He's so consistent. And look at the consistency across the board. Pass block grade 79.9, run block grade 79.1. Malik Willis, I made a comment the other day. Bears fans got really mad. I was like, imagine if you had Malik Willis as your quarterback. I'm in it, guys. I'm in it. This is the Malik Willis with good coaching. This is Malik Willis with a quarterback guru and Matt LaFleur. And I'm being completely honest, guys. Think of how Malik Willis has played for us. He has not lost a game yet, right? As a quarterback, whether it's starting or filling in for Jordan or having to come in the middle of the game because Jordan got banged up. He's grading out high. His passer rating is through the freaking roof. He did it again in New York, came in on a drive, busted off a couple runs, threw a touchdown pass, and he's back on the bench holding the clipboard, helping Jordan being his personal assistant, essentially. It scares me to think of what the Chicago Bears could be if they had a good quarterback. The reality is Caleb Williams is holding the Bears back right now. He's literally his passing ability or lack thereof is holding the Bears back from being an elite team right now. That and their defense are the two big things that stick out to me. And I know the argument is, yeah, but look what he does in the fourth quarter scrambling. I got you. Is he a running back or is he a quarterback? Because his completion percentage is cheeks. And if you think, okay, well, the receivers drop the passes a lot, look at his adjusted completion percentage ranks lower than just his completion percentage. So you can throw that excuse out the window. If they had a quarterback, if they had Jared Goff in Chicago right now, Chicago, I would be thinking they're probably a top 2 or a top 3 team. Caleb Williams being their quarterback is the only thing that's keeping me from saying, man, they're legit. That and the fact that their defense has struggled so bad. Their turnover differential is good. That is one thing Caleb does well. He typically protects the ball well, but you've seen in this last game, he threw an interception, right? He's real bad about throwing the football right into the hands of the defensive line or throwing it into their face mask. We've seen that time and time again with Caleb Williams. But anyway, I digress. Malik Willis, 13 snaps, another 82.2 performance here for Malik Willis on the season this is, okay? So last year, he had significantly more snaps. Hopefully, we don't see him for the rest of the year because obviously Jordan Love is Jordan Love. But Malik Willis is one of those dudes that, like, again, this is an example of what happens when you get good coaching. Tennessee, 51-45. He comes to Green Bay, 217 snaps, guys. This wasn't 30 snaps. This wasn't, 50 snaps. 217 snaps, 70.3. And then this year, of course, only 13 snaps, but an 82.2. So Malik Willis continuing right where he left off last year. I'm just so glad he's the backup in Green Bay. Josh Jacobs on the year, 82.1. Tucker Kraft, of course, breaks my heart to see it, but he was on a hell of a run here in 2025 of 78.1. Darian Kennard, 168 snaps. He's playing that extra tight end position, that what we call Y70, right? 74.5 on the year. It's nice to have him kind of waiting in the wings if you need another offensive lineman. So when you think about it, if Anthony Belton's starting at right guard, you go from left to right. Rasheed Walker, Aaron Banks. You've got Sean Ryan, who's playing some of his best football at least this last game, maybe the last 2 games. Anthony Belton at right guard. Zach Tom at right tackle. Zach Tom will be an all-pro, or he should be in the conversation as an all-pro. You don't even worry about the right tackle position. He's great. Now think of who you've got at backup. You've got Jordan Morgan, your former first-round pick, who I think should be the primary backup on the left side. And you got Darian Kennard, who could play the backup on the right. Now, the problem is if you put Kennard in, let's say Belton goes down with an injury and they decide to put Kennard in at right guard. Now you're losing that Y70 approach. That's why they continue to put Jordan Morgan in at right guard so they can keep Darian Kennard freed up to play that extra tight end position. I agree with that, by the way. I'm just saying it's nice to know you've got a couple of guys there who've seen significant snaps as starters to be able to come in and play in a backup role for sure. Dontavion Wicks, don't look now, 72.7. I think he's grading out as the 27th best receiver in the league. Guys, that's a starting number 1 caliber wide receiver. I'm not saying he's a number 1 that takes the top off. I'm not saying he's a number 1 that warrants bracket coverage. I'm simply saying there's 32 teams, and he's grading out as one of the best 32, one of the top 32 wide receivers in the league right now. He seems to have fixed the hands issue. He's out there running routes, catching passes, Moss and Brian Branch with one shoe. This dude's playing with his hair on fire right now. You could tell last year they wanted him. And I think this is my personal opinion. I have no sources to back this up. I think why Romeo Doubs got mad last year is he started noticing Dontavion Wicks getting some of the reps there. So they love Christian Watson. They love Jaden Reed. They want Dontavion Wicks, I think, to be that boundary X receiver. He doesn't have top end speed. He's not going to take the top off the defense, but he's got the route running ability. He's got better route running ability than Romeo Doubs, but Romeo Doubs has had the better hands up to this point. Wicks's hands have taken a huge step this year. So if Wicks continues to step in the same direction there, move in the same direction, if Romeo leaves in free agency, I think what they're going to be looking to do is potentially have Matthew Golden play the X, right? Jaden Reed play the F or the slot. Christian Watson play the Z, the speed Z, field side wide receiver. And then you've got Wicks, who, guess what? He can play F, he can play X. He's not perfect for Z on the field side, although they put him there. What you've got is 4 receivers that can play all 3 positions. That's an exciting place to be. All right. Chris Brooks, 69.8, 119 snaps, great year. Romeo Doubs having a solid year, guys. 67.1. He's been available, 615 snaps. Matthew Golden, 67.0 on 327 snaps. So, you know what we always say, a rookie player grades in the 60s or higher, he's going to be a good football player. Everything checks the box for Matthew Golden. He just needs the targets, and I'm not saying they should over-target him. What I'm simply saying is with Matthew Golden, he needs to be on the field to get the ball. And when he's on the field, don't try to go, we're forcing him the ball. I love the fact that Matt LaFleur doesn't do that. And he does this, la, 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 to the critics who don't like that. Don't try to force the ball to one person. Run your scheme. And if you truly have 4 or 5 guys that can play every position there, then the sky's the limit, man. Mike Witt with the super chat. Thank you, Mike. With us playing so much 6 offensive linemen, I'm waiting for Matt to call a tackle eligible pass on the goal line. So, oh my gosh, Darian Kennard for a touchdown. Can't wait to see that dance, right? Can't wait to see that end zone celebration. I think you're spot on there, Mike. It's coming, dude. It is coming. So again, those are some of the players that are balling out. I wanted to try to identify 5 players that are balling out on each side of the ball. Jaden Reed, minimal snaps, throw it out the window. Jordan Love, balling out. Christian Watson, balling out. Zach Tom, balling out. Malik Willis, minimal snaps. Josh Jacobs, balling out. Tucker Kraft, as Romeo Doubs says, he's in a better place. That was hilarious what he said. But Tucker Kraft will be back stronger, better than ever next year, just like Christian Watson. Doesn't this give you guys hope that how the Packers have handled Christian Watson's ACL? He's come back just as good, if not actually better than he was before. Expect that from Tucker Kraft. ACLs don't worry me anymore, other than the fact that you're done for the season, and that sucks. Darian Kennard playing good football. Dontavion Wicks playing good football. That's how it looks on offense. I want to hear from you guys in the comments. If you're watching this video back later, let me know what you think about the offensive players who are performing the best in the 2025 season and what they've done here recently, more specifically against the Detroit Lions. Let us know in the comments. Is there a player we missed? Is there one of those players that you disagree with? We want to hear from you. Make sure you hit like, subscribe, and click that bell icon so you're notified when we go live here in the future. All right, let's shift gears now and let's talk defensive side of the ball. Let's start same way we did just now with the game against Detroit. Who balled out for the defense? Guys, it's happening every week, and I don't know what to do. Isaiah McDuffie is playing outside of his mind. And I see people on X, and listen, I didn't comment. I'm not going to mention their name. I'm not trying to dunk on people. You can fan how you want to fan. But I see people cherry picking bad snaps on Isaiah McDuffie. If you're going to do that, then cherry pick on everybody. Okay. The reality is every player in the National Football League have bad plays. You want players who have way more good plays than bad plays. That's the nature of the business. That's how you identify the players who, all right, we can get the most out of that player. Is like Bill Belichick used to say. He used to get frustrated with the scouting department because they would come to him and talk about what a player couldn't do. Yeah, well, we got these 5 players that we like. He can't do this, 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 and this. This guy can't do this, 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 and this. And they said Bill would get so pissed off, and he'd go, stop telling me what they can't do. Tell me what they can do. What can they contribute to the football team? That's all that matters. I don't need to know a player's limitations. I need to know what do they do well, and are we in a position where we can put them in a situation consistently to do what they do well, right? As opposed to, if the moral of the story, you can find negatives with every player across the league. If all you harp on is the negative, you're not maximizing their potential and what they can do really, really well, if that makes sense. So I've seen people cherry picking this bad snap, that bad snap. Okay, now show the 55 good snaps. Stop cherry picking the bad ones, and let's identify what he does well. Isaiah McDuffie, guys, he's grading out like a top 10, but I think he's 7th now overall in the league in terms of 300 snaps, with at least 300 snaps, I believe was the number. He is the seventh best linebacker according to PFF. Against Detroit, 87.0 defensive grade. Run defense grade, 87.8. Tackle grade, 83.6. Coverage grade, 67.1. We knew he could play the run. I did not. I expected that coverage grade to be in the 50s, guys. Not based off what we've seen on Sundays. I'm just saying, like, in general, okay, if you'd have told me at the first of the year, Isaiah McDuffie's going to have to play in your nickel 4-2-5, I'd go, coverage is going to take a hit. 67.1 is pretty solid grade for someone who's a thumper and a run defender first. And again, when you look at why this defense has been so effective, it's their run defense mainly. Now, their pass defenses, last we checked, they were number one. They were ranked first in the league in yards per pass attempt allowed. But their run defense and being able to make teams one-dimensional and taking their run away. Guys, going into this Detroit game, what was the talk? You guys remember what we talked about, what everybody talked about? The week before, Jahmyr Gibbs ran all over the New York Giants, ran for however many yards it was. It was like 300 all-purpose yards or 200 all-purpose, whatever it was. It was like, holy cow, how are the Packers going to stop him? What did we say on this particular program? We said, hey, listen, New York Giants have the worst run defense in the league. The Packers have a top 5 run defense. I'm not overly, because it needs to be emphasis, right? And you need to emphasize, hey, we got to stop the run first and foremost, and they did. What did Jahmyr Gibbs do on Thanksgiving? Nothing. What, he had like 60-some yards or 70-some yards rushing, right? So again, why is that? Isaiah McDuffie's a huge part of that. So again, stop the run first and foremost. More things can go wrong in the past, right? The old saying, what is it? And I know I'll always butcher it because I can't even remember who was the first person to say it. But they said when you throw the ball, 3 things can happen, and 2 of those 3 things are bad, right? So most teams want to press into and lean on the run. Stop it first and foremost. Isaiah McDuffie's great at that. So against the Lions, 87.0. Micah Parsons, 82.9 with a pass rush grade of 90.6. He's just so damn good. 2.5 sacks in that game. And again, run defense grade 67.7. Not bad at all. I was told he was a bad run defender, right? Tackle grade 76.7. Pass rush grade 90.6 for Micah Parsons. Unbelievable. Adrian Cooper came to play 73.6 with a run defense grade of 78.3. Coverage grade was a 59.6. So definitely better at playing the run, according to PFF, than the pass. Javon Bullard, I see your super chat, Mike. Appreciate you, buddy. We'll hit it here in just 1 second. Javon Bullard, 71.2 PFF grade. He just continues to get better. And the thing that really excites me, I know he can play the run. I'm not worried about these run grades being down. Look at the coverage grade, 75.3 coverage grade. Javon Bullard just continues to get better. Look at how he's improved. All right, let's look at this. Last year, 54.2 with a coverage grade of 49.0. This year, 67.9 with a coverage grade of 70.5. And again, you could see him getting better. You could see him getting better last year when they moved him to the slot. And we had to accept the fact that, okay, he's not a safety. He's a slot. He's a slot corner. Let him play in the slot and let him kind of get better. If you look at him on the year here, look how he's gotten better throughout the season, guys. 44, 61, 47, 58, and then the light switch came on. 71, 73, 69, 64, 66, 72, 68, 71. PFF grade on the season is now a 67.9, up from a 54.2. That's a huge year 2 leap. I'm really, really excited about Javon Bullard and what he's putting together. Next, you got Tyron Hopper, 17 snaps, 70.9. So he's your third linebacker right now when Quay's out. And I'm expecting Quay to probably be ready for the Chicago game. We'll see if we get some information here coming up Wednesday when the injury report drops. But a 70.9 for Tyron Hopper. Guys, I think he's a real deal. Look at the PFF grade last year, only 18 snaps, 60.7. This year, only 55 snaps. Get it over 100, and you continue to grade out to 73.9 with a coverage grade of 75.6, a tackle grade of 77.8. Man, this is what we've seen in the preseason, and we always throw it out the window and go, it's preseason. Let's see what he does when the real bullets start flying. Tyron Hopper seems to be looks like a solid linebacker. Nose tackle, Nazir Stackhouse. This is a pleasant surprise, but we got to curb the enthusiasm. Only 5 snaps, right? So 69.6 was his PFF grade against Detroit. We climb into it. You can see it's been pretty bad this year, right? His overall defensive grade is a 46. However, that is his highest PFF grade. on the season, albeit just 5 snaps. The other time was 10 snaps, a 69.3, which tells me when he's in there just playing nose and he's not having to fill in for other spots and them having to get a little bit crazy. Again, with our cheetah package, putting 3 pass rushers in, we've got that flexibility. You can kind of save Nas Stackhouse to just play nose. Good game, don't get me wrong, but only 5 snaps. I'm going to personally curb the enthusiasm there a little bit. It is exciting, though, to see what you potentially got there. For sure. Let me hit the super chat so it don't sit too long. Mike Witt, thank you so much, buddy. He says, got to be honest, I'm scared about the loss of Wyatt going into the Bears game. Brooks and Wooden are really going to need to step up. Maybe Brinson too. Completely agree. Completely agree, Mike. This defense plays better with Wyatt on the field. They just got to get creative here, man. We got to get creative with how we're going to play this on the interior. But yeah, I think it is a huge loss, and it should not be minimized, man. Devontae Wyatt was kind of the straw that stirred the drink for this defense. You know what I mean? Yeah, we're going to miss him. That's for sure. But we need these guys to step up. And again, I think we'll lean a little bit more into our cheetah package. Don't be surprised by doing so, leaning in the cheetah package a little bit more. Maybe the run defense dips a little bit, but maybe the pass defense improves even more, right? That's just on the surface, very surface, thinking there, but we'll see how it shakes out. Evan Williams, 64.6. They gave him a 30.9 tackle grade. Evan's still having a solid year here, grading out a 72.7. You can see he's right where he was last year, gang. A little bit of ups and downs, but I love the fact that he's consistently in the 60s, right? 64.6, 67.6. Let's get out of those 50s. Let's stay in the 60s here, right? And, of course, his best game of the season was week 1 against Detroit with a 90.5. His second best was against Cincinnati with a 76.4. So I'm not concerned about Evan Williams. Just got to create a little bit more consistency. When you turn on the tape, he looks really good. There's several of those grades. I remember watching the tape back this season and going, I don't know why they graded him so low. I thought Evan played pretty good. And, again, PFF isn't everything. It's just one of many metrics we can use. So on down the line here, Rashawn Gary looked like he had a bad game according to PFF. I agree with this one. I didn't notice Gary too much. A couple of times it seemed like he was in on the run stops, which is what he does. But Gary continues to kind of dwindle off here a little bit. He's down to a 68.2 on the season. Now, maybe he'll hit another burst like he did in the first part of the season and actually improve. But to me, it kind of seems like I'm glad Gary's on the team. And I think that Micah wouldn't have been as near as effective if Gary hadn't been on the team because he's still getting chipped a lot, things like that. Especially with him starting the season, he was actually on a higher sack pace than Micah was early in the year, right? But it does kind of feel like something's going to have to be done next year. Probably a restructure of the contract, or maybe they do move on from Gary and they let it become the LVN show. We'll see. But you can kind of see, man, starting the season, 68, 73, 79, 82. I'm sorry, not starting the season, but on his season. Let's go backwards. Or let's go forward with his first season in the league, all right? 2019, his rookie year, 55, 68, 89, 82, 79, 73, 68. So you're seeing a steady decline, right, in terms of PFF grades. Now, again, run stops, I don't think they know how to grade the run defense as effective. And, again, we don't know who's grading it. So I think he's been really, really good in run defense. But the pass rush is definitely tapering off. So when you look at it on the season, 63, 60, 75, 71, 68, 63, 83 against Pitt, 62, 45, 62, 63, 51. So Gary played his best ball, no doubt, the first 8 weeks of the season, right? Really, first 9 weeks of the season. So these last 4 weeks, he's starting to dip a little bit. Let's keep an eye on it. One of two things are going to happen. He's either going to completely hit the wall, and we'll go, okay, writing's on the wall. Gary may not be here next year. Or he's going to spike back to what he was doing earlier in the season and finish the season strong, which he typically does. If you guys have noticed, I remember him being dominant in that San Francisco 49ers game that we lost at Lambeau Field. He's one of the few players that actually showed up to play that day. So maybe we'll get his best football on down the stretch. But when you look at the snap counts here, it's been steady all year long. The people that are trying to say that they're replacing him, with other players and snap counts, I think it was more schematics than anything. But this last game, he got 44 snaps. That's tied for his third most snaps of any game this season. Okay, so just keep that in mind as well. But again, little concerned about Gary. He's been playing for a while now. He's coming up on 28 years old. We'll see what happens next season for sure. Super chat here from Mike. If Evan Williams doesn't make the Pro Bowl this year, then I don't even know what a Pro Bowler is. Love his play this year. Yeah, I could see him making the Pro Bowl, Mike. I could. Again, I don't put a whole lot of stock in the Pro Bowl. It's more about that All-Pro status and the top 100. I put more stock in the top 100 than anything on NFL Network. And people, I know they hear that and go, "How? Why?" Because it's the actual players voting on it. It's the people who are playing the game that are going, "Yeah, that dude's a dog." I think them and the coaches know more about what's going on the field and who's actually playing well and who isn't than any website, whether it's NFL Pro, whether it's PFF grades, or I'll tell you another thing is us breaking down the tape. I try to do a good job breaking down the tape, but I promise you, if I had to decide between me and a player in the league or a former player, I'm always going to go, tell me what I missed, what we got here, right? And let's make sense of it. Those guys have forgotten more about football than I'll ever know. So, yeah, Evan Williams, though, I think he's putting himself in a position to make the Pro Bowl. I don't think that's unreasonable. So Gary, we got to him. Kobe Wooden had a bad game. And again, Devontae Wyatt, 45 snaps, 50.5 was his PFF grade. So let's kind of compare. So Brinson played 32 snaps. Back to the original question of, man, are we worried about Wyatt and how much he's going to miss here? Right? Let me hit this from Doug real quick. Yeah, Clay, my guess is they're asking Gary to contain more than rush. You can see it on the tape. You really can, Doug. And I know the Gary haters hate hearing that, but you can see kind of a cage rush from his side, and they're turning Micah loose. That's what you should do, right? And that's why Gary can still be effective in the run game. So, yeah, I think that's a good assessment. Back to defensive tackle. If we're overly concerned, right, that our defense is going to take a dip now that Devontae Wyatt is not in the lineup, right? Let's take a look here. Who had the most snaps on defensive tackle? So you have Wyatt with 45, okay, Kobe Wooden with 38, Brinson with 32. So essentially what you're talking about is you're going to have a third stringer, and I don't think it'll necessarily be a Nas Stackhouse because he's more of a nose tackle, but don't get me wrong, his snaps are going to increase. He'll probably be in about the 15 range, 10 to 15 range, I would imagine, maybe a little bit more. But when you look at these defensive linemen, I mean, that's a significant amount of snaps, right, guys? There was looks like 63 total snaps on defense. Kobe Wooden played 38. Warren Brinson played 32. Kobe is more of a one tech, in my opinion. Warren's more of a 3. So what you'll probably see is that combo out there the majority of the time. But you'll also see some of these edge rushers get more snaps too because of the fact that they're going to be probably pressing into Cheetah a little bit more. Not this week. The Bears like to run the football. You got to go out there and try to stop the run the same way you did against Detroit. Make Caleb Williams beat you with his arm. And when I say beat you with his arm, cage rush, don't try to sack him. Don't go out there and go, all right, pin your ears back and go get him. He's going to make you look silly, right? What you need to do is a cage rush. Make Caleb Williams sit in the pocket and play quarterback. That's what you want. Okay, if you can compress that pocket on Caleb Williams, imagine a cage rush, right, on the outside and having Micah lined up at Joker 1, helping press the middle of that pocket in on Caleb. That's going to be the recipe for beating Caleb Williams. Now, first and foremost, stop the run. Stop the run, keep Caleb in the pocket, and I think you're going to come out of this game looking pretty nice. So it's going to be a tough game, though, NFC North, man. Throw the records out the window. In this case, you can say keep the records in there, and it's going to be a tough game, right? But moving along. So I just want to point that out. I don't think anything's going to drastically change. We played without Wyatt this year, and it wasn't great, right? The defense did take a dip, but these guys have more reps now. I think we're more equipped now than we were early in the season where these guys were kind of thrust into the spotlight, right? So Carrington Valentine, according to PFF, had a horrible game, 30.7. Just want to mention that. I'll have to go back and really watch the ISO on him and try to figure out, okay, what happened to Carrington and see if I agree with it or not. Because sometimes what happens with these PFF grades is the Uber driver who's grading the tape, and you guys know what I mean by that. That's not me making assumptions. That's people have confirmed. Anyway, I'll go back and watch the tape and go, okay, that there was 2 catches that Carrington gave up, right? Or whatever the number is. And they may have logged it as 5 because they don't know what the coverage call was. I don't even know what the coverage call is, but you guys see in real time on Chalk Talk how we try to determine what the coverage is. Okay, no, that's a cover 6, which means he's actually matching the one on a vert here because we're on the half side, which means if he gives something up underneath, PFF will give him a negative grade. when in all honesty, in the meeting room, they'll probably give them a 0, which is just a neutral grade. You get a -2, a 0, a -2 to a +2. And if you're playing a cover 6 and he's on the 2 side and it's a match coverage and a guy beats him underneath, they're not going to give him a negative play on that because his top priority is flip your hips and don't let them beat you over the top. Now, they're not going to give you a positive play. They'll probably just say, okay, you did your job there. That's what we asked you to do. And that's the stuff that PFF doesn't get. So just want to mention that. So there are your grades against the Detroit Lions on defense. Now let's shift gears to what the defensive grades look like on the season. Here are your top defensive players according to PFF. Let's go back to Sixers real quick. That missed tackle made him look bad. I know, but I didn't notice much blown coverage, maybe a little. That's a great point. He did miss 2 tackles, 2 huge tackles, right? But again, you're not – Carrington Valentine's not out there to be a run stopper, right? You want him to make that play. And I believe Keyshawn makes that play. I believe Bullard makes that play. But again, I feel like Carrington's a better cover corner than both of those guys, right? So put them in a position to do what they do well. And other teams get paid to. Those coaches get paid to watch the tape and try to create situations where you get a running back or a receiver underneath in space with Carrington Valentine, right? So, yeah, I'm with you. Sixers, I think that's very, very accurate there, buddy. All right, so PFF grades on the season. We'll get ready to wrap this thing up. Micah Parsons, 91.9 on the season. What else can you say? He is balling out. Isaiah McDuffie up to an 80.0 on the season. Again, minimum 300 snaps. Actually, it might have been 330 snaps. He's the 7th highest graded linebacker in the league right now. Xavier McKinney up to a 75.2. Edgerrin Cooper, 74.8. Tyron Hopper, 73.9. Lucas Van Ness, 73.4. Let's get his butt back on the freaking field because I think he's popping this year as long as that foot don't continue to nag him, right? Evan Williams, 72.7. Rashawn Gary, 68.2. Javon Bullard up to a 67.9. Carrington Valentine, even with that horrible grade, still grading out a 67.0. Solid grade for a 7th-round pick. Keyshawn Nixon, 65.8. Kingsley Enagbare, 64.3. Kobe Wooden, 60.5. What's crazy is people have been very impressed with Devontae Wyatt, right? I think we would all agree. We say the defense is different when he's in there. Kobe Wooden's grading out a 60.5. Devontae Wyatt's grading out a 52.9. Warren Brinson is right there in PFF grade with Devontae Wyatt. So we'll see how it plays out. Carl Brooks, too, is going to be coming back soon, I would hope. He's a 56.7. That's one guy that we're completely leaving out of the equation. Once Carl Brooks is healthy and we can get him back on the field, hopefully that happens this week, although I haven't heard anything there. That's another guy who's going to fill in a role there, right? So you can take a little pressure off of your Warren Brinson, right? Because Carl, if I remember correctly, last year, Carl played 1 tech. So what they may do is they may have Kobe continue to play 1 tech since he's got a lot of experience this year and what Hafley's doing different this year than last year, especially with the Joker 1 looks, and let Carl pick up some slack on the 3 tech. So again, if Carl Brooks is available this week, and I don't know if he is, I don't know if he's going to be, but he's going to take some of that pressure off of Warren Brinson. So that's great news. Again, just to recap, 5 players that are balling out. Really, there's more than 5. Let's just go everybody a 65 or above. The reason this defense is having success: Micah Parsons 91, Isaiah McDuffie 80, Xavier McKinney 75, Edgerrin Cooper 74, Tyron Hopper 73, Lucas Van Ness 73, Evan Williams 72, Rashawn Gary 68, Javon Bullard 67, Carrington Valentine 67, Keyshawn Nixon 65. Honorable mention here, Kingsley Enagbare with a 64. So those are the players that are balling out on defense for your Green Bay Packers. If you're watching this video back later, let me know in the comments what you think about the defensive side of the ball. Do you agree with those players? Do you agree with PFF? Is there a player that you think is maybe graded lower than they're actually playing, or maybe vice versa? There's one of these players they're grading extremely high, and you say, hey, Clayton, no, I disagree with that. Let us know in the comments what you think. Make sure you hit like, subscribe, and click that bell icon so you're notified when we go live in the future. Appreciate everybody jumping in here. Such a short notice early in the morning. We, like I said, just want to get a pod out to you guys and a little bit of coverage here before we go into the long day of shopping. Pray for you, boy. Pray for you, boy. The wallet's going to take a hit. I said this the other day. I don't know if you guys agree. I can go out and put in a 14-hour day doing landscaping, doing concrete work, something like that, and not be near as tired as 3 hours shopping with Mandy. I'm exhausted. I don't know how they do it. I don't know what it is. Let me know in the comments on that. Forget football. Let me know what you think about that. If I lost my mind, am I crazy? Because I'm telling you, I go out shop for a couple hours, and I'm like, I need to get home. I need a cup of coffee, and I need to sit on my couch for a minute. But anyway, it's Christmas season, so we're going to try to work everything in around everything we got going on with the family. So you're going to get more live streams like this, which means make sure you hit subscribe and click the bell icon so you're notified when we do this. All right. That's it, guys. We'll see you probably a little later this afternoon. I'm going to try to put another show out about 2 or 3 o'clock. I got to start putting Chalk Talk together. I've already dove into the tape, 3 passes through. We'll put that together, do that tomorrow. So we'll get the guys back in here this evening. Had a little bit of a sickness issue last night. We got through it. So we should be back live again this evening. So again, probably around 2 or 3, we'll try to go live if we can make that happen, and then later tonight. But appreciate y'all. This is PTA. My name's Clayton. Go Pack, go.
There we go.
We're out.
Bye, guys.